2 years ago, I started a 2-part ZeldaMonth video,
which were both late.
but this time is different. Now, I'm doing everything in October. I had a lot of fun participating in ZeldaMonth, and it was able to get me involved in plenty more Zelda titles during that time. I always noticed that nobody really talked about the DS titles on YouTube, so I decided to make the 2-part Phantom Hourglass review, even though it feels more like a resume than anything. Nevertheless, one game that caught my eye was the other DS Zelda game, Spirit Tracks. This game interested me due to it sharing the same backlash Phantom Hourglass did, and if not, much worse. So, since we tackled one of the DS Zelda games, why don't we tackle the other one as well? Unlike Phantom Hourglass, I didn't grow up with Spirit Tracks, so I don't have much of an emotional attachment to it as I did with Phantom Hourglass, and I familiarized myself with a couple other Zelda games such as Breath of the Wild and A Link to the Past since then. I don't think this will steer my opinion towards the general consensus of Spirit Tracks, but we'll see. For now, let's finally boot up Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. But before I start this video for real, however, I want to make a quick warning to those who haven't played or watched the last video that I covered on my channel. If at any point in the video you would like to stop watching it for spoiler reasons, go ahead. I will talk about the full story in moderate detail to cover everything the base game has to offer. So, if at any point you are interested in trying the game out for yourself, then feel free to leave this video to the side and pick it back up whenever you're ready. And with that being said, let's start the video. Booting up the game, you're met with a crazy nice cinematic cutscene where the remains of Zelda is following a train. Already off to a great start. Hey, this save file screen is pretty neat. It's all flashy and pulls Phantom Hourglass's save file screen out of the water. No pun intended. Now I need a name. Well, I do like naming my character after their canon name after all.
He's a boy and you play as him.
I was told that if I didn't name him Link, people would flame me in the comments. Fine! Finally booting up the game for real, the game introduces you to, well, the introduction sequence, which turns out to be a slideshow similar to how Phantom Hourglass started. Wait, is that my boy Nico? Nico! Nico! He still looks good after all these years! Just look at him! Never mind, I want a divorce. So apparently Link has to go see Princess Zelda and not Princess Peach, from what my proofreaders tell me, so I can get my engineering degree. Come to think of it, all the Zelda games are all about you becoming the hero, whether you're destined or you just happen to be there when you people need someone. And now, Link has to work hard for his engineering degree. In a world of peace, I guess you could say there's no need for heroes, so Link finally took it upon himself to finish his college degree. As expected from Phantom Hourglass's sequel, to move Link in Spirit Tracks, you'll need your handy stylus. Man, it feels weird not seeing Ciela at the end of the trail. Do you think he talks to Nico about it? Hey Nico, check out this cool sparkly dust I found. Look at that! This sparkly dust is calling me! Oh, you want me to go in here? I mean, okay! They also fixed up a bunch of the controls from what I've seen so far. Instead of circles in a corner to do a somersault, you now tap twice in a specific direction like this. You little... Ah! Ah! Why isn't the water working? The kid said to jump in water! I'm gonna see the screen a lot, aren't I? Unlike Phantom Hourglass, the game wastes no time to introduce you to the new travel mechanic Spirit Tracks has to offer. The train. Like the boat in Phantom Hourglass, the train will carry you all around the overworld, but this time the system is a bit more limited. Since you're not on the sea, you don't have much free range movement-wise, and it's easier to run into stuff like other trains. This is the whistle. You had me at whistle! Woo! Honestly, I'm a big fan of the train mechanic. Using the whistle to scare animals on the track, needing to be careful about other trains and the like, makes the experience pretty entertaining. Alright, we made it! Now time to stop this thing! Hey, stop! Hey, stop!
He didn't notice.
I also want to comment on the soundtrack, which already feels like an upgrade to The music feels so lively, cheerful, and gives that folklore vibe to the point where I can really get into the setting. There's been a lot of fun changes in Spirit Tracks too. The postman now chugs along compared to flying around the islands, fitting the new theme of trains. And now there's a dedicated mail system in your collection so you can look back at all the mail you've been sent throughout your adventure, which is much better than having to remember everything the postman tells you out loud. We finally made it to Hyrule Castle. First, we need to get past this guard. And then this guard. Not too long after, the game introduces you to Chancellor Cole, who definitely doesn't look suspicious at all. Nonetheless, he guides you over to see the princess, and a wholesome interaction between Link and Zelda occurs when Chancellor Cole calls you out for being discourteous when Zelda calls him out for being a little bitch. And now we have a Royal Engineer certificate.
Yay.
Suddenly, Zelda swoops in and hands us a letter. Then, she tells us to beware of the Chancellor. No, don't worry, I figured. Then the Chancellor in question brings up, along with some sinister-ass music, that polishing my train won't matter for long. No matter, let's check that letter Zelda gave us. Apparently, she gave us a guide over to her quarters, saying she has a great favorite task. Say no more!
What's up?
Eventually, Link makes his way over to Zelda's headquarters and asks me if any of the guards saw me on my way here. Nope. Zelda then tells Link about the Tower of Spirits and how the tracks are fading away or something. Now she wants answers, and I guess I have to come along too. Now I get to take her on my train. Don't look into that. We also get new clothes. Also, don't look into that. Yeah! Now we get to be the reused asset from Phantom Hourglass! Oh god, this really is Phantom Hourglass. Just like in the Temple of the Ocean King, we have to try not to get spotted by the guards. However, that's easier said than done because now we have Princess Zelda with us. She gave me the recruit outfit to blend in, sure, but what the hell am I supposed to say when they see the princess tag along with the new recruit? Not to mention, the guards didn't really have a problem with me showing up with my engineer outfit anyway. Jokes aside, this is where things get interesting. Not only do you have to worry about Link, you also have to worry about where Zelda's position is too. This isn't like the Gorons in Phantom Hourglass, however. You can tell Zelda where to go by tracing a path on the map. She gets a cute icon for it too. Aww. I can also call for her too if I need her, but that would probably sound strange around all of the other guards. Hey, you want to see my sparkly friend? Whee! Anyways, we somehow made it out there. Alfonso wonders what the hell Princess Zelda is doing out here with me, which Zelda backs me up. Thanks, Zelda. Saying she wants to go to the Tower of Spirits. Suddenly, the train tracks start disappearing! Alfonso guides the attention over to the big giant cloud that's now surrounding the Tower of Spirits, and now I guess Giratina from Pokemon is making his appearance too. Oh, no. Okay, well, I guess the Tower of Spirits is floating now. And now some random train wants to show up. It's then that the tiny gremlin known as the Chancellor reveals himself as the goat monster or something. And now Dark Alfonso shows up from the back, I guess. And now, of course, the imp wants the princess for something, which is when Alfonso steps in and starts waving his sword out against the overgrown goat. Swiftly defeated, Alfonso gets shot straight into the train. And just as swiftly, Link comes to Zelda's aid and T-poses. Zelda then gets shot by the Chancellor, who I'm starting to think isn't really a Chancellor anymore, and her soul pops out? Unable to stop burning coal, we wake up into the castle, all beaten up. It's then that Zelda's soul pops back out, and she's calling out for the help of the guards. Yeah, let's call out for the people that weren't able to stop a child from, well, escorting the Princess of Hyrule out of the castle. The worst part is they actually heard her, but they didn't actually do anything about it. We walk into the princess's room again, where we meet Zelda once again. Or what's left of her, I should say. Too soon? Too soon. Zelda is unsure what Cole could be up to, which is fair, because what kind of dick goes, oh boy, I'm an all-powerful goat demon, let's ruin transport and destroy all of the train tracks and all the land. She then presents Link with the Spirit Flute, a prized family heirloom, which she just hands over to me. A child! You just met me like this afternoon and now you want to give me some cool flute you own? Cool! Now we get to travel with the princess, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of this game. Getting a partner like the face of the entire series such as Zelda is such an interesting experience that hasn't really been explored up until now. It's like it adds that extra character to the game. It's really neat. Not to mention the writing in this game is also pretty good, with scenes such as Man, I don't know. Having the princess praise you after everything is, A nice touch. Just like in Phantom Hourglass, you get a beginner's sword. It's just your basic run-of-the-mill sword without any special effects attached onto it. Unlike the tutorial in that game though, in Spirit Tracks, you get to beat up actual staff members! I don't know though, I sort of feel bad watching them all retract their stomachs after I strike them with a blow of the sword. Our adventure finally begins and oh boy, the soundtrack really is hype. Really gets you into the mood to adventure, especially with that pan flute. Upon entering the tunnel, we... Oh god. Oh no! Oh no! Are you telling me you create the soundtrack from the ground up and this is the one song you decide to reuse? After going through a couple of basic puzzles, Link and Zelda make their way up to the Tower of Spirits. At last! We made it! But first we must look at Train. Yep. That is nice, Train. We are then introduced to Anjan, who explains that she's only there to watch over the Tower of Spirits. Guess that means you should have noticed that it's floating and breaking apart as we... Then there's some exposition about the good people and the Demon King, and then the Spirit Tracks, roll credits, and how the antagonist's goal is to resurrect Meliodas, the Demon King, who Anjan here is keeping away. Anjan reveals to Zelda that they are going to use her body as a vessel for Meliodas, which naturally she would react like this. She then gives us our main goal to restore the tracks between the Tower of Spirits and the 4 temples across Hyrule. It's here that the player will realize that the Tower of Spirits is the new and improved Temple of the Ocean King, where instead of collecting seed charts, you instead collect 4 stone rail maps, which are the sort of equivalent to the 4 sea charts in Phantom Hourglass. Naturally, Zelda is all ready for it, so I guess it's up to Link to save the day yet again. Okay, here we go! Time to get that rail map! Oh god! They brought the phantoms back. Now, Anjan explains that first, we must obtain all 3 Tears of Light. That will power up our sword to make it strong enough to face the phantoms, which is starting to sound like the Metal Quest from Phantom Hourglass, but in fact is a lot simpler than that. On the first floor, the Tears of Light are collectibles. To get them, Link must avoid the phantom with the help of the safe zones, sort of like Phantom Hourglass. But now that we have all the Tears of Light, we can attack the phantom. Hee-yah! Well, it was worth a shot. But no, Zelda comes to her rescue and she ends up possessing the Phantom. Honestly, the main attraction of this game in my opinion is definitely the way the story revolves around Link and Zelda, and how both of them interact with each other. It's not something they've really bothered developing up until this point, and it's really cool to see how they act around each other, and the development they go through during the course of the game. Now that Zelda's a Phantom, you two are strong enough to push away the doors and proceed into the tower. She can also go through spikes and basically act as the second player. She's also afraid of rats, which is kinda cute, but be careful because she can also push you off and push you into things if you're not careful. She's also able to distract phantoms and go through safe zones, which is honestly pretty hilarious. And if you kill another phantom, Zelda will end up possessing that phantom, and the other one just disappears. Once Link and Zelda reach floor 3, Link lost the power obtained by the Tears of Light, and Zelda lost her phantom form. But in exchange, now you can explore the southwestern part of the map. This means Link can now access the first temple, but there are just a couple things that need to be done before we get there. But if we ask for the help of the Locomos, Anjan's people, then they can help us restore the spirit tracks. Aha, I see. Hello, fellow Locomo! Can you help us? Oh, she actually gave us a free train. I was joking, but who cares? Free train! Hey you! Get off of my train! Okay, and we made it! And we made... Arriving in Whittleton, Link meets with the town elder where he tells us to go to the Lost Woods. Naturally, for something called the Lost Woods, we probably need a sort of guide to take us through. So time for Talking Montage!
2.0.
So from the information that I gathered, it would seem that the people here are batshit crazy. Time to head out to the Lost Woods anyway. Huh, well what do you know? That went pretty well. On the lookout for Gage, I found a chicken atop a piece of land with a chest. Don't worry, I'll get you down for there! Ah! Whoa, Link! Where did you learn to do that? So with the Spirit Flute, sort of like the Ocarina and Ocarina of Time, you can use the microphone to play certain notes that will end up turning into a new song. For example, right here, Link played 2 notes and now he can play the Song of Awakening. Man, I wish I could do that. these songs can be played in the overworld to cause certain things to occur. It's pretty cool. And here we meet the coolest afro I've ever seen! Gage explains that to recover the lost spirit tracks, we require the energy of 2 instruments, Gage's instrument and Link's spirit flute. Honestly, the soundtrack of this game simply amazes me. So much love feels like it was put into the pieces, and they're all such a joy to listen to. And now we recovered more spirit tracks! Yeah. Thanks. Entering the Forest Temple, you'll see another stone rocket that emits music notes, just like for the Song of Awakening. Now Link can play a new song, the Song of Healing. A fairy will come to Link and help him out if he calls for one. Pretty useful. However, Link can only play this song one time in the same dungeon, which adds to the strategy. This dungeon is a pretty good example for one of the main gripes people had with Phantom Hourglass. The puzzles felt too easy, and they always had a proper solution somewhere around the temples. But Spirit Tracks is a bunch of puzzles where you just have to get that big brain of yours running, even just for a little bit. The double bomb bridge before you meet Gage, and the fact that you can carry chestnuts instead of just smashing them open with your sword. Trust me, figuring that out took a while. Other than puzzles, this temple is themed around poison, sort of like how the new Super Mario Bros. Forest levels are themed. Avoid the poison clouds and make your way through the temple. Soon enough, you'll find enemies that can create poison clouds, but this is where the game introduces you to the Whirlwind, a unique tool that only appears in Spirit Tracks. To activate it, you aim where you want to go with the stylus and blow in the mic. This item not only blows poison clouds away from the ground and from enemies, but other items like keys, and you can push pots and chestnuts into things. I was surprised to see a mini-boss in this game, however. This was something completely new to the DS Zelda games, and it was a fun puzzle on its own to try and defeat it. Just like in Phantom Hourglass, the dungeon ends with a boss key. However, Spirit Tracks takes them to a whole new level. There's a certain path you have to follow with a boss key, or else! Well, I was curious to see what would happen.
I love it when my games are rated E for everyone.
Fortunately, I tried it right next to the boss door, so I guess it's time to fight the first boss! Stagnox is the first boss of this game, and the way they handled this fight was really neat. On its second phase, you were shown how to handle the little bomb buggies right before the boss, and the game has you utilize that to take down the boss. Once that's settled with, a giant green gem shows up as an electrical current runs through the Spirit Tracks, slowly linking the Tower of Spirits back together. Before we head back over to the Tower of Spirits though, some manifestation of evil has turned the other train cars into bomb cars? Let me tell you, I almost ran into these more times than I want to admit. Now, you might be starting to make some links if you have already played or watched my Phantom Hourglass video. Yes, the Tower of Spirits is your new Temple of the Ocean King, but the way they handled it was very different. This time, you can just flat out skip the previous floors you've already completed and just go straight to the new floors. This helps a lot for just how tedious going through everything in the Temple of the Ocean King over and over again was. You still have to get the Tears of Light again though. Plus, there's some really neat new gadgets too. What does this thing do? Oh, Rail Map 2 achieved! And also this!
This game is amazing.
Parts of the game requires the cooperation of both Link and Zelda, and while it sounds cool on paper, it's just a struggle to try and fight certain enemies like this. With some of the new quality of life fixes, such as somersaulting requiring a double tap of your stylus, rather than a circle in the corner of the touchscreen, it kind of makes combat harder and solidifies the point on how Zelda games don't work well with a stylus-based control scheme. Upon exiting the Tower of Spirits, we encounter a small herd of boars that keep ramming into the train, and our whistle isn't helping. Zelda suggests that we go pay Alfonso a visit just to see if he can help in any way, but Alfonso says first we must return back to Aboda Village. Since we're back over to Aboda Village, I went over to Nico who went over stamps, a little side quest where you can get rewards if you collect enough stamps for him from around the world. These 20 stamp stations are located somewhere in almost every area your train can stop at, and each of the rewards are pretty cool. I haven't gotten any of them in my current playthrough of the game so far, so I'll bring it up in the next part. Once we go check on Alfonso, he comes and tells us that he installed a cannon inside of the train. This way we can finally fight back against the enemies that won't go away by just the whistle alone. Just like in Phantom Hourglass where you could find and discover mysterious islands that aren't found on the sea chart, you can also find train stops that aren't marked on your rail maps. One of these stops takes us to the Rabbit Land Rescue, where a man by the name of Bunnyo gives us a rabbit net so we can capture bunnies and play with them here. Once you find a bunny on the map, all you have to do is pull out the rabbit net and try to capture it. Just get in the basket! The second rail map takes us over to a snow region, and I'm very pleasantly surprised that there's a unique overworld theme. It's so refreshing to hear something new every time you change areas compared to Phantom Hourglass's one overworld theme. We arrive at Anuki Village, a village full of little horned creatures unique to the DS Zelda games. I always did like them in Phantom Hourglass, so it's really cool to see them make a return here. Link asks around hoping to get information from the residents, but all they can tell us is that they don't know, and that we should go to the village Honcho instead. This is also the place where Link learns the third song, the Song of Discovery. Using this song means that we can discover things such as treasure chests. So we finally meet the village Honcho to ask for permission to enter the Snow Sanctuary. But first, he wants us to pair a couple villagers before we do. But Link has to be careful because some villagers are picky. So it's time to memorize all of the Inuki's names and pair them all up properly. I forgot their names already. Nah, he can go with him. You can go with you. This one, perfect. Wait, I have to be right? I thought it didn't matter what Inuki I picked! So this guy doesn't like yellow. This guy doesn't like horn, so I guess he's no facial hair, so he's off the team. I got it! Apparently there's a tunnel that's still intact, but there's a ginormous monster that found its way over there a few years back. Oh, that thing? The one I shot with a cannon several times? We made it to the Snow Sanctuary way earlier than I thought we would. But who cares? Let's buy some of these random tickets as a celebration. After fighting through a couple werewolves and choo-choos, we made our way into the Snow Sanctuary. Upon entering the actual sanctuary, we are met with a really interesting invisible wall puzzle, where we have to get to the far end of the room without getting seen by any of the Easter Island statues. So I drew a map and followed the path. Yeah. Speaking of maps, just like Phantom Hourglass, you can mark things down on your map. Marking down specific paths, codes you want to remember, or simply places you want to go. There are some spots where you can't vandalize your little piece of paper, but it's still pretty fun to mess around with when you can. We finally meet the next guardian, Steam. Just like the first one, this guy has us play another duet, which has gone and opened up the rest of the spirit tracks. But of course, it won't be that easy. Just like the fog in Phantom Hourglass, one wrong turn in this blizzard takes you back to the beginning. I tried brute forcing through it, and I think I found the path first try, but the game is probably scripted in a way where you're forced to turn back to Inuki Village in order for the game to progress properly. But the village Honcho has no idea how to get past the blizzard, so we have to do more backtracking over to the east of the map. I mean, it kinda makes sense since there's a train over there and all, so why would they put that there if you didn't have to go there? Of course, I accidentally entered a train stop and found some guy's map where he wanted to spot some hot new trains. I mean, you do you and all, but damn, please word it differently. Of course, this train isn't gonna make this easy for us. Well, train 1 was spotted around here, but there's nothing here, I guess. Train 2 isn't here either. I'm willing to think this dude was on a crazy acid trip and just imagined the trains or something. Anyway, there was this weird sign on the third spot, and I heard some weird noises from the game. Oh, he's taking pictures. So we meet Ferris, the train expert who knows a lot more than I feel like he should know. He claims to have a map that should give us the way, which is nice, but my lord, when he said it was old, it's old! Well, time to follow the path and finally make it over to the next temple. Backwards, because I forgot how the train was positioned. Sure enough, we made it through, and here we are at the Snow Temple. This temple's aesthetic is really cool. The grass is all frozen, which means cutting it off sounds more like cutting crystals than grass. And they don't drop anything like hearts, arrows, or the like until you thaw them out. I found this bell-looking thing followed by what looks like music sheets. I ended up fiddling around with my spirit flute thinking it would do something, but what I ended up doing was accidentally initiating the Song of Healing and used up my one free heal. Thanks, Link! What I had to do here was to push the bell in the hole and hit it twice. Of course, why would you think the spirit flute was involved? Link! The puzzles here are all ice themed, such as the usual push this rock around to be able to make a path, and some more dungeon unique quirks, such as redirecting spike balls towards switches, traversing through cold waters with a box, and playing Beyblade with a Bergmite. Beyblade, Beyblade, let it rip! Let's go! After getting through the cold water, fight a couple ice bats, and then obtain the second tool of the game, the boomerang. Similar to Phantom Hourglass, it activates switches, stuns enemies, and is really freaking cool to mess around with. But it also has new features thanks to the new things Spirit Tracks adds to the table, such as Ice Fire, which can temporarily freeze water to walk on by creating a path with your boomerang, which is pretty cool. It also solves the tougher puzzles that require more bell sounds. There are so many unique puzzles in Spirit Tracks, where when Phantom Hourglass had the problems, Spirit Tracks no longer shares these problems of them being too easy or having a solution somewhere else in the dungeon, or at least it doesn't always have them, and has an abundance of little creative puzzles in every corner of these dungeons, which I'm a huge fan of. Okay, boss key time. Wait, if I can do that, can't I just... I cheated the system! The second boss here is Fraz, the master of ice and fire. A very nice reference to Blast, the master of fire from Phantom Hourglass. Fraz has 3 phases compared to the first boss. On his first phase, you have to hit him with the opposite element of what he's charging for. For example, if he's charging fire, then you hit him back with an ice boomerang. Next, he splits his 2 halves to fight you. In order to beat them, you have to figure out which element is which, and then hit them back with their opposing element in one stroke. It shows on the top screen. The next 2 phases just get harder though, as you have to get multiple hits on Fraz while he's charging, also in one stroke. It can get pretty intense, but it wasn't long until Link vanquished Fraz, and then connected a part of the Tower of Spirits once again. Now the video's probably trailed on long enough, and I feel like I covered enough of the game to serve as an introduction to what this game has to offer, along with its differences compared to Phantom Hourglass. It definitely improves upon its predecessor, but admittedly causes some new problems at the same time, such as the train system, which is one of the biggest gripes people have with the game, it being extremely limited and tedious to ride on and just didn't fit for a Zelda game, along with the instrument being so difficult to play. It's unfortunate really, because despite that, the game so far has been pretty enjoyable, but the fact that these 2 problems make the core mechanics of the game do make it pretty hard for the title to really stand atop the others. Of course, this is still just the beginning, and I'm looking forward to what else this game has to offer. Next year, we'll be covering part 2 of Spirit Tracks, hopefully on time for Zelda Month.